Hi there, everyone. Welcome to Your Caribbean News and Culture. This week's show is bound to leave you intrigued, inspired, and in awe. We are chatting with a very special guest, a man who led a regular, typical life, much like you and I, but his spiritual journey in Ethiopia unfolded in an unbelievable and divine manner. Jevon White, also known to many by his stage name Sadiki-I, joins us. Jevon, welcome. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here also.
Absolutely. Now, in order to understand the present, we sometimes have to revisit the past. So you're from Montserrat, you moved to the U.S., you attended Morehouse College, between your travels back and forth to Montserrat in the U.S., you took up a musical journey, you pursued music.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Yes, I've been doing music now for 20 years. I put my first CD out back in 1995, and I've been in the music business ever since.
Now, do you feel that it's your music that led you on a spiritual journey, or did you always have that type of spirituality embedded in you and your music? Because you're considered a conscious rapper,
Yes.
correct? Oh, artist, not
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
So is it your spirituality that influences your music, or do you find that, you know, your music is what led to such an embedded spirituality within you?
My spirituality influenced my music, definitely.
Okay, because a lot of your songs speak to, in essence, the Bible and some things that go on in the world, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, fast forward in, you took a vacation. You decided to go to Ethiopia. Why Ethiopia?
Ethiopia is definitely that place I always wanted to visit. I was doing a lot of travels to West Africa, and one day I decided it's time to go to East Africa. Mm-hmm. And why Ethiopia, the first stop in East Africa? Because Ethiopia is the cradle of civilization. That's where life began. Most scientists, archaeologists, historians, they all concur on that. Ethiopia is where they found the oldest human bone fossils, Lucy and Adi, these old skeletons that was found there. And the Bible also tells us that the Nile River that flows out of the Garden of Eden, that Nile River starts in Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is like that place, the beginning, you know. So I said I must visit Ethiopia.
Visit Ethiopia, okay.
Yeah.
Now, this brings us to the whole concept of this interview.
Okay.
You're in Ethiopia.
Yes.
Just a regular tourist.
Yes.
Let us know what unfolded. Something that's so divine and influential. Yeah. Talk to us about it.
Okay, as I said, I went to Ethiopia as a tourist. And in Ethiopia is, you know, the Ark of Covenant. The same Ark of Covenant that God commanded Moses to create, to hold the 10 Commandments. And, you know, I've always heard it was there. The Ethiopian tradition and history tells us it is there. And I've come to believe that it was there. So I decided that I'm going to go to Aksum, that's a city in the northern part of Ethiopia. Mm-hmm. And Aksum is really the ancient capital of Ethiopia. Okay. It's where Queen of Sheba came from in Ethiopia. Okay. Actually, her palace is still in Aksum. And Aksum was one of the most powerful city-states back in those days of like the Greece era and Roman era. Mm-hmm. Aksum was that powerful state in Africa. Okay. And, you know, I decided to go to Aksum because, you know, the Ark is there. I wanted to be in the holy city, you know?
Right.
So I went there and, you know, when I did the tour, you know, I had a tour guide that took me around. You know, he took me to see Queen of Sheba's palace and took me to see the big monastery that King Faisal built and all these things. And towards the end of my trip, my first trip, I asked the tour guide, I said, you know, I would like to go and meet the guardian monk of the Ark of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm. It's a bold move.
Yeah.
Bold request.
Yeah. He says to me, nobody meets the guardian, especially not foreigners.
Right.
He says, I'm from Ethiopia. I was born here in Ethiopia, right here in Aksum, and I've never met the guardian. Mm. So, you know, that one is highly impossible.
Right.
I said, no, let's try it. I would like to meet the guardian. So then he takes me to meet a priest from the church, and the priest said the same thing he said.
Right.
No one meets the guardian,
Right.
especially foreigners.
Right.
But then the priest said to me, he says, because you asked, we must go and lay your requests. And then he said, but don't be disappointed if he doesn't come out to see you.
Right.
So he went and told the guardian, there's a foreigner here from America who wants to see him. And 5 minutes later, the guardian came out to meet me.
Wow.
And he came with the cross of St. Mary, St. Virgin Mary, the cross that stays under the Ark of the Covenant permanently. And he came out with that cross and touched me 4 times on my head with it, the front, back, side, and side.
Wow.
And then he prayed for me. And after he prayed for me, I thanked him, and I went on my way. And I had taken many pictures of that place. So when I came back to America and I was looking at the pictures, there were certain things about the place that disturbed me. Like the dome on top of the temple was chipped up, like it needed to be repaired. The fence around the temple needed to be painted. The paint was fading. So on my second trip, I went back to Axum and asked to speak to the guardian again.
Right.
This time being more confident that I will meet him again because I met him for the first time.
First time, of course, right.
So the guardian came out to meet me again. I said to him, do you remember me, sir? He says, yes, I remember you. I said, sir, if it is possible, and please ask God, I would like to fix the dome and paint the fence.
Wow. And you did this just out of your own will.
Yes.
Like this is just you being driven to do such.
Yes.
Okay.
And, he said to me, paint the fence, no problem. But we cannot fix the dome while the covenant is in this building. We must first build a new temple, move the ark to the new temple, and then we repair the old temple. Then he disappeared. And about 5 or so minutes later, 10 minutes or so later, he came back with a blueprint of a plan he had for the new temple. And then he said to me, for 2 years I've had this plan.
Wow.
Waiting for the person to come and take this plan from me.
Wow.
And he then took the plan, put it in my hand, and says, this is your work. Go look about it. And then he warned me, make sure you look about it. And from that day till this day, till the opening ceremony that took place just a few weeks ago,
Right.
that has been my life's work for the past 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me a little bit about how you mentally process this. Because here you are, you're in a country, you don't speak the language. To my understanding, you had a translator with you the whole time.
Yes.
It was your second trip there, but all your life, you're kind of familiar with our way of life, the Western world. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So how did you fathom all that? Did it feel surreal? Did you, how did you process all that?
Good question. It was amazing because, to build a temple for the Ark of the Covenant has always been the work of kings.
Kings, yeah.
King Solomon was who built the first temple in Jerusalem. And then King Fasil built a big temple for it in Axum before. And then Haile Selassie and Empress Menen built the last one that had the chipped up dome.
Right.
So for the guardian to give me the work, it was unbelievable. It was like, wow, like is this for real?
Happening?
So it was like being in a daze sometimes.
I can imagine.
Is this real? Like
Right.
in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But after some time, it sank in. And
Right. And it was just,
I accepted
this is just
the work,
what I
and
have to
this
do.
is what I gotta do.
Yeah. Now, did you experience any ridicule from your peers, your family? Like, Jevon, come back to America. What are you talking about? You're over there doing this, that, and the third. Like, did you find support all the way around? Because I can imagine for some people hearing this, it's like, wow, really? You know what I mean? So talk to me about some of what you went through as you were on this journey.
Well, it was a little bit of both, but I would say it was more support than disbelief.
Good.
There were some who disbelieved. There were some who, there were some who probably thought that none of it was real. There were some who thought that is the Ark really in Ethiopia? And but now that the work is over,
right,
a lot of those same ones who now see where what the accomplishments and see, and see me with the patriarchs of the church and the high priests and these people, and they actually see the actual building finished.
Right.
They're like, their hands are over their mouth, like, wow, we didn't believe, but you was real.
Exactly.
Right. So
now, while you were there, you also got baptized.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
All the clergy in Ethiopia, from the patriarch right on down to the guardian monk to many of the other monks and priests and bishops and deacons, and they were all telling me to be baptized.
Right.
And for me it was like, because in my heart I always felt like, well, I know God. Like the baptism, what is the baptism really gonna do? Is the baptism gonna make me know God a little bit more? So for me it was like I already walk with God,
Right.
So for a while I resisted. I didn't just say yes, let's go.
Right.
It was for some time I was like, I told them all no. We went from the patriarch to the guardian monk, and it's like people, for the people I'm telling no, people will actually kill for these people to baptize them, and I'm telling them no. So it took some time, and it took a vision or a talk with God for me to really accept the baptism. And one day, because everybody was at me with the baptism talk, and one day I couldn't take it no more. So one morning I woke up and I said to God, God, if you want me to be baptized, please show me a sign today. Like, I want to see the sign today, not
right.
tomorrow. And I want that sign today.
Right.
So that morning I got up from the hotel, went about my business, went to the church, just in and about Axum. When I got back to the hotel that evening, the hotel manager, he had a document he had written about Timkat. Now, Timkat is an Ethiopian celebration about the baptism of Christ.
Okay.
So he says, Sadiki, you're a very blessed man, and I appreciate what you're doing in our country. Thank you very much. And I want you to read this thing I wrote about Timkat, and I want you to tell me what you think. And right then and there, when he showed me that, the spirit moved in me, and it dawned on me right then and there that this was a sign I asked for.
Right.
Today.
And you got it.
And I got it.
And then you got baptized.
And then I got baptized.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
More with Jevon White, also known to many as Sadiki-I, when we return.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Hey everybody. Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet!
Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Kids will spend 57 minutes making me go splat.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
There is no history in the country without Aksum. That's the first part. Everything can happen there.
Most people in the Western world have never heard of the city of Aksum in the remote region of northern Ethiopia. They don't know that Aksum, once the most powerful state between Persia and the Eastern Roman Empire, is one of the world's most historically significant holy sites, its people being among the first to transition from worshiping many gods to venerating the one God of Judeo-Christian belief. They don't know that the ancient city of Aksum is considered the homeland of some of mankind's earliest achievements, which is why it was named one of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites and globally recognized as a site of outstanding cultural importance to the common heritage of humanity. You might expect a city of such importance to have a world-class museum, where people from every corner of the world can view and learn from hundreds of carefully preserved priceless artifacts. Unfortunately, that is not the case. While it's true that leaders of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church have collected thousands of priceless artifacts, there is no museum in which they can be displayed to the world. No modern building where the artifacts can be preserved and protected. That means scores of rare books, parchment scrolls, manuscripts, hand-illustrated Bibles, ecclesiastical uniforms, vestments, and ceremonial relics of ancient Ethiopian kings are in danger of being lost, stolen, or destroyed by exposure to the elements. Most distressing of all, the true Ark of the Covenant, built by Moses to house God's 10 Commandments, rests today in a small chapel with a leaky roof. A single tarp is all that stands between the rain and one of humanity's most holy relics. In response to this problem, His Holiness the Patriarch Abuna Paulos and the Holy Synod of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church are striving to build a world-class museum in Aksum to preserve these artifacts for future generations. The much-needed museum will consist of 2 separate buildings, each 4 stories high. In one building, artifacts never before seen outside Ethiopia will be on display for visitors, and a mezzanine will contain showrooms for special events. In the second building, there will be space for restoration rooms, offices, and meeting facilities. Between the 2 buildings, a multi-level public space will provide a beautiful area for meeting, meditation, and contemplation. The estimated cost of building the museum is $30 million, a minimal investment when compared to the long-term benefits of restoring, protecting, and learning from these priceless relics.
For allowing me to begin and to complete this holy project, which has been the greatest work of my life.
ኣብ ህይወተ ውሽጢ ዝለዓለወ ሚና ዘለዎ እግዚአብሔር ነዚ ዝጋበዘኒ ብጣዕሚ የምስግን።
Over the past 2 years of this project, there have been many tests and many trials, but with the help of Almighty God and Saint Virgin Mary, we have overcome them all.
ናይ እመቤታችን ጸጋና እግዚአብሔርን ዝሓለፈ 2 ዓመት ብዙሓት ፈተናታት ነይሮም። ካብ ቦስተን እዩ ናብዚ መጽኢ ዘሎ ብተደጋጋሚ እዩ ዝመላለስ ካብኡ ናብዚ እንትመጽእ ናብዚ ዘሎ ጸገማትን ፈተናታትን ኣህሊፉ ናብዚ ዘብጽሐና እግዚአብሔር ተመስገነ ይሁን።
Now today, I am so happy to be finally able to bless my eyes upon this holy project. To God be all the glory.
Welcome back to Yo Caribbean News and Culture, everyone. We're chatting with Jevon White, or Sadiki-I as some may call him, a man whose life took a holy calling upon his visit to Ethiopia. Jevon was chosen to lead the project to renovate the temple which housed and preserved the Ark of Covenant along with other ancient artifacts. The video clip you just watched is a piece of a 45-minute video clip, which you can find on YouTube. It highlights the ceremony celebrating the completion of the renovation. Now, it's done.
It's done. Finished.
But I'm sure your work is not done.
No, my work is not
What's
done.
next?
The old temple needs to be refurbished. St. Mary of Zion Church that Haile Selassie built also needs to be refurbished. And I would say what the next major project for me in Ethiopia would be to fix up Ijersogoro in Harar district, that is the birthplace of Haile Selassie. So I would like to see that place fixed up and have some proper accommodations and proper sanitary places, bathrooms, and so forth. And that's my next work in Ethiopia.
All right. Now, aside from your work in Ethiopia, are you still pursuing a music career? Are you still performing, recording?
Yes, actually, I was in the studio today.
Oh, good.
And yesterday, and I'm going back tomorrow.
Good.
So I'm working on my new album right now.
Okay.
I'm actually trying to get some new music out for next week, so that they could go with me on my trip to.
Oh, good.
To the
when you go back.
Caribbean.
Oh, to the Caribbean.
Yeah, I'm going to Montserrat next week.
Oh, going back home. Good,
yes,
good.
I'm preparing some new material right now to go and release down there.
All right.
And working on my new album.
Nice. Great, great. Now, to learn more about Jevon White, his journey and spiritual driven work in Ethiopia, or even to find ways to contribute to upcoming projects, I highly encourage you to check out his website, www.sadiki.com, or his Facebook page. He's extremely accessible, so you can hit him up on Facebook as well. Jevon, blessings, brother.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for
I'll
having
see
me.
you all next time. Thank you all for watching. I'm Delinda Eiffel.